Nintendo is going to be dropping some huge plans, and they might be happening sooner than you may think. On February 21st, 2021, the beloved Nintendo action-adventure series The Legend of Zelda celebrated its 35th anniversary with little to no fanfare from Nintendo to be seen. But could that be intentional? Currently, Nintendo is celebrating its Mario 35th anniversary that started late last year, and it's currently doing it again with a new sale that's going on for Mario selected titles, which is currently set to end March 31st. Through the course of this celebration, we have seen collections like Mario 3D All-Stars, ports like 3D World, Special Edition Mario themed Switch, and even a Mario themed Battle Royale. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really gonna miss Mario 35. Now, with this celebration still going on, from a marketing perspective, it would make sense to hold back any big plans and reveals for the Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary celebration, as to kind of keep focus on sales on one product rather than divide the consumer's attention. Now, if you guys remember right, during the Nintendo Direct on February 17th, we got Skyward Sword HD Remake, which was being made for the Switch, releasing July 16th of this year, which is luckily going to feature a solution to one of the game's greatest criticisms, the ability to play the game without motion controls. With a promise for more news on the 2019 revealed Breath of the Wild sequel from series producer Eiji Aonuma later this year, if the Mario celebration is anything to go off of, we could expect a lot more coming our way. Now, it is also worth mentioning that Pokemon is currently celebrating their 25th anniversary, so that's kind of made things very awkward to be a Legend of Zelda fan. The Nintendo Switch is consistently getting games from the Wii U and 3DS ported to it, and considering the minimal amount of effort, we can assume we might see both Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD making their way to the system this year. Also, not to mention, developer Grezzo, who was in charge of making 3DS versions of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, is said to be hiring for a new position, which many fans believe is the Legend of Zelda games they're currently working on. Now, it is possible that, like the 3D All-Stars collection for Mario, we could see one or possibly two collections for Legend of Zelda this year. A reasonable guess would be a collection containing Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, and another containing Ocarina and Majora. More than likely, though, we won't hear any solid information about things like this until after the release of Skyward Sword HD in July. So unfortunately, again, the Zelda 35th anniversary plans are indeed delayed. It would be safe to assume they would give us at least a month after the release of Skyward Sword HD before possibly doing a 35th anniversary direct like they did for Mario late last year. I mean, when was the last time we actually got a specific direct for Zelda? It's been so long, and I really think it would be super awesome for them to make several announcements just for Zelda. This would also be the perfect time to reveal the promised Breath of the Wild 2 news. Now, this would obviously all depend on whether or not Nintendo plans to celebrate E3 2021 with a direct, or if they plan to do their own thing with a direct around the same time that other publishers plan to do a direct. With E3 2021 going fully digital, we can expect Nintendo to make some announcements but not have to pay the money the ESA is looking to get. So best bets are on there being a Zelda Direct sometime in August of this year, and in an ideal world, we could see a fully remastered and 4 ports coming to the system, not unlike the special edition disc included with the GameCube all of those years ago. If Nintendo goes ahead with a pack release schedule of Zelda content that mirrors Mario, we could see a very full plate of Switch content in a short amount of time. We could likely see Nintendo once again implement their limited releases for one of these remakes and re-releases. They have already done it with the financial success of both 3D All-Stars as well as Switch localization for the very first Fire Emblem. Now, taking into the consideration of the marketing aspect of wanting each game to have its own time to sell without competition from themselves, a 2021 release for Breath of the Wild 2, while hopeful, probably isn't realistic. They would save Breath of the Wild 2 for the absolute last, being that it's such an anticipated title that has fans worldwide holding their breath, excuse the pun, for news and information. So a 2022 release at the earliest seems the most realistic assumption. But in my opinion, there's still one key factor for all of this. As we know, Nintendo Switch Pro is all but confirmed, especially after the Bloomberg article that discusses the production start for the Samsung OLED screens. I've said this time and time again, but we know Nintendo's goal with the Nintendo Switch Pro is to release Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 alongside of it. So if we get a Switch Pro this year, holiday season 2021, then in my opinion, it's pretty much a given that we should get Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 alongside the release. Now, with both the Pokemon Anniversary as well as the Mario 35th Anniversary concluding, it puts Zelda in a very weird situation. And it feels like everyone has celebrated the 35th anniversary for Zelda besides Nintendo themselves. Now, this is actually something that we've seen in the past. It's happened with many 35th anniversaries. So just because we didn't get something yet doesn't mean we're not going to get anything at all. It could be eventually the E3 rolls around, and that's where they start the celebration, is with a showcase of the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Maybe we'll get the title shown at E3 2021 with a gameplay trailer, but that all really depends on what Nintendo decides to do. Now, it could be that the Nintendo Switch Pro doesn't release until next year sometime, and we get the Zelda 35th Anniversary kickstarted at the 2021 Game Awards. For the most part, the ball is in Nintendo's court. Do I think we're going to get 4 Legend of Zelda games this year? Probably not, but I think we're going to get at least 2 of them. I think the 2 safe bets are Twilight Princess HD as well as Wind Waker HD, because they're games on Wii U that they could easily port to the Nintendo Switch. I think we're still a ways off with Ocarina of Time as well as Majora's Mask, and that's likely because they're holding off on those 2 games for whenever Nintendo Switch Online releases Nintendo 64 support. We've got an NES, we've got an SNES, so all that's next is Nintendo 64. But even that's kind of sus, because I don't think they would put both of those games on the subscription plan, but I'm hoping to be wrong. My question for you guys is, would you buy 4 Zelda games in 1 year? Are there any other titles in the Legend of Zelda library you hope Nintendo gives more love to? Will the Hyrule hysteria get completely redone once again? Is limited releases the future for Nintendo porting their old games? Let me know down below, guys. Thank you all once again for watching. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you on the next video.